Hey, yo, brothers, I came across this video today on TikTok, and the topic of conversation is married. Marriage. Married couples are the biggest liars until you get married. Brothers, I have various examples of marriage in my life, and really, as people get older, into their 50s, 60s, and 70s, 80s even, what you notice and what you study commonly with a lot of older married couples and people that are seasoned in their marriage is they give each other a lot of space. They're not all up under each other all the time. I don't know if that's necessarily because the intimacy has died in their relationship or that's just how things work. Grandma, aunties, mother, father, whatever. These people, they're in one area of the house. The man is in his area of the house. The woman is in her area of the house. And they kind of leave each other alone. They're not all up under each other all day. They're able to dwell on their own. There's a level of self-love that you have to have before you love someone else. A lot of people are getting into relationships and they don't love themselves. They don't like themselves. They're not comfortable in their own skin. They hate to feel alone or isolated and left alone with their own thoughts and their own mind. And what happens is they get into a relationship and they're looking for someone else to fill this void inside of them. The reality is, brothers, when you come into a relationship, you already kind of have to have all your trauma healed. You have to already be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to know how to love yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to love someone else adequately, and they're not going to be able to love you adequately. A lot of people, especially you brothers out here, y'all marrying women, all these brothers out here are marrying women that have 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 30 bodies. Have a lot of baggage, have a lot of trauma. Part of them is missing. There's voids. There's emptiness inside of them. And you get into a relationship and you're married with this person and you're living with this person and you're laying next to this person all the time. And you start to see those emptiness and those slots and those holes and those voids. And they're looking for you to fulfill them or fill them up. Brothers, you just know what you're signing up for. Anyways, let's tap into this.
Married people only tell you the truth about marriage after you're married. If we knew the truth about marriage prior to marriage, like married people were telling you the truth, rawness about marriage prior to marriage, no one would ever get married. Women wouldn't. Men will still get married because they have a lot of advantages in marriage.
Brother, something we have to understand is a lot of women are constantly talking about how only men benefit from marriage. For some reason, I think this is the most erroneous thing that I've heard because women are the ones that are always advocating for marriage. You're not gonna play house with me all day, nigga. You're not about to just sit around and have me walking around pregnant and barefoot and you ain't got no ring on my finger. If you like it, you should have put a ring on it. It ain't a lot of men out here saying if you like it, you should have put a ring on it. Women are the ones that press and push for marriage. They're the ones doing that. Brothers, the reason why marriage is created for real, if we're being honest, is because the woman needs a spiritual covering. Because if the woman is not covered spiritually, what's going to happen is she's going to be prone to the temptation, the lust, the ideological thought process, the forbidden fruit of the serpent. She's going to be prone to Luciferianism, Satanism, demonic ideological concepts. The modern day demonic ideological construct that the woman has strongly aligned and tethered herself to is feminism. Women don't even understand that they've been led to their own demise. I'm gonna talk about that later on in this video, but in general, that's the reason why the woman is supposed to be married is because she needs a spiritual covering. The man is supposed to be a reflection, an image of God and Christ in the home. That starts with us disciplining ourselves, subjugating ourselves to God and Christ, humbling ourselves to God and Christ, submitting and subjecting ourselves to the word of the Lord, the commandments, the laws of the Lord, and the precepts, the stories, and the words of the prophets. And we teach that to our women and our children because it's our job to lead and guide our woman on a spiritual level. That's what the story of Adam and Eve really is about. The woman's God is the serpent. The man's God is Cooter Mama, Coochie. It's the reality of it. We have to overcome our temptation to coochie, and the woman has to overcome her natural proclivity to be aligned with the energy of the serpent. The serpent is constantly in the woman's ear. constantly. Is it all in all women's ear to the same degree? No. But the reality is, in a society like this, every time the woman opens up her phone, every time she's on the phone with her friends, the group chats that she's in, she's constantly dealing with satanic or Luciferian ideologies. The reality is, if the woman does not have a man of the Lord guiding her in her life, she is going to burn on the day of judgment. That is the reality of it for the majority of these women. Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. But I'm not talking about the exceptions to the rule. I'm talking about the vast majority of women here in America. They are going to be destroyed on the day of judgment. Not to say that men aren't, but the vast majority of women are going to be destroyed on the day of judgment because they don't have a spiritual covering in their life. All they're doing is going out to the club every Friday and Saturday night and drinking and bumping and grinding coochies and twerking on their friends. That's what they fought for. But anyways, let's tap back into this.
But women would never get married, or they definitely would not marry for love. If I were to ever marry again, under no circumstances would I marry for love. I don't even know.
Marriage has never been about love necessarily. And let's ask ourselves, what is love? Once again, I've said this in other videos. My parents have always told me that you're not doing someone a favor unless you go out of your way. That's the reality of it. If you're not going out of your way for someone, you don't love them. Love is something you do when you don't feel like doing it. That's what love is. It's something you do when I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing it. I don't have the energy for it. But you know what? I'm going to do it anyway because I love this person. Most people don't know what sacrifice is. That's what love is. The scriptures tell us to love thy neighbor as thy love thyself. Who is your neighbor, brothers? Your neighbor, your number one neighbor is your husband or wife. Simple as that. That is your neighbor, your spouse, your significant other. That's literally the person you're sharing a bed with, literally the person you're sleeping next to every night. This is literally the person you're sharing food with, sharing a home with. This is your neighbor. That's the problem. Women do not know how to go into a marriage, go into a relationship and serve their husband. And guess what, brothers? You're supposed to serve your wife or serve your woman, whatever you want to call it. You have to look to serve the other person. If two people are not aiming to serve one another, not make each other happy, but to serve one another, meaning I am here to serve you and you are here to serve me. If you don't understand what servitude is and doing more for another person than doing for yourself and giving and not expecting to receive anything in return, if you don't understand that, you're not going to last long term in a relationship. It's not going to work. A lot of these women, they think that you're supposed to worship the ground that they walk on. That's the reality of it. It's the reality of it. And they get tired of it. It's a lot of women nowadays, they're selfish. That's what they really are. They're selfish. They don't like doing a lot. They don't like doing anything for you. Not to say all women, not to say all, but they start keeping tabs of everything they're doing. They don't think that your woman is not keeping an invoice, a receipt, and inventory of everything that she's doing for you and saying, okay, what is this nigga doing for me? That's how the woman operates. It's give and take. That's how she looks at it in this society. Are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. But this is the things you got to understand when you're dealing with a woman in this type of societal structure. She needs you to do more for her than she's going to do for you. Otherwise, she's going to start looking at the situation and saying, you know what, I'm about to fall back because I'm giving this nigga way too much and you're not giving me enough back. No matter what you're doing, even if you're providing and taking care of all the bills, that is not enough.
If I would marry for like, it would have to be like a lot deeper than that. And I know a lot of you guys may be like, oh, love is deeper than like. Tell that.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Liking somebody and loving somebody is two completely different things. Brothers, a lot of people love their children, but don't like their children at all. At all. They don't like their children. Their children are bugaboos. Their children get on their last nerves. They do not like their children, but they have a responsibility and an obligation to their children. That's the reality of it. And that's that's the difference between like and love.
To a couple that's been married for 40 years. Most likely that woman feels like she love her husband, but she damn sure don't like him. And he definitely don't like her. Because when
You know, brothers, the crazy thing is some people just aren't likable. Everybody is not a likable person. And the number one way in which you make yourself a likable person to your spouse or your significant other is once again serving them. And they serve you. You have to find somebody that's willing to serve you as you're willing to serve them. That's the reality of it. You have to find someone that is selfless. A lot of people talk about what are the qualities I'm looking for in a woman, or what are you looking for in a man? Oh, she got to look like this, and he got to be this tall, and he got to make this much money. Is a person really willing and ready and able to serve you, to give to you? Are they selfless? Do you look to give and you think first to give? Stop asking what can a person do for you and what can you do for a person? Because a lot of people are talking about a relationship and they want a relationship and they don't have anything to offer. They have nothing to offer the other person but a headache and a hard time. That's what a lot of girls have to offer a relationship. They have nothing to offer but a headache and a hard time. It's a lot of dudes out here that don't have nothing to offer a relationship but some penis. And that's only going to last so long, because when the bill's not getting paid and her other needs are not being met, that's not going to matter anymore. It's a lot of dudes, that's all they have to offer. The number one, that's, you have to be able to serve. You have to be selfless. If you are looking to please the other person, satisfy the other person, and serve the other person, and that person is grateful, and that person has content, meaning they're capable of satisfaction, then the relationship will work. But if a person is ungrateful and not capable of satisfaction, doesn't know what contentment is, then the relationship is not going to work. Most of these women don't have contentment. They are in search of happiness. Happiness comes from contentment, meaning satisfaction. Whether you have $100,000 or $100 million, still can be happy. There's people that have make $100,000 a year, and they're the happiest people you'll ever meet. Some quote unquote. And there's people with $100 million and they miserable. They just got money, but they miserable. Just giving you an example. Not to say that you should only strive to make X amount of dollars. You do what you feel compelled to do. It's just about, can you be satisfied? And the scriptures tell us a good man is satisfied from himself, meaning you can dwell in isolation and you can dwell on your own.
Really like someone, you treat them like you got some sense. When I meet a couple that's been married for decades, I know that that woman has a lot of endurance for pain. And she's probably
In a relationship, you are going to have a lot of endurance for pain because people are flawed. There's a such thing as human error. A lot of people say things they shouldn't say over the course of a marriage. They divulge things they shouldn't divulge. You tell a person things about yourself that you shouldn't. There's things that happen. There's conflict. The scriptures tell us that a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. I mean, so if a friend loveth at all times and a brother is born for adversity, what do you think is the traits in the case with your significant other? Your significant other is supposed to be your number one friend. That means they supposed to love it at all times. And a brother is born for adversity. Your wife, husband, whatever, that person is supposed to be born for adversity as well. Adversity. The Most High has the Creator, whatever you want to call it, has this matrix called life that we live in, set up in a way where adverse situations are going to come. They are going to arise because that's meant to test the strength of your relationship. The scriptures tell us, just like gold is tried through the fire, so will I try you. That's the same thing with your relationship. Your relationship has to be battle tested at some point. How do you know that this bulletproof vest really works unless you actually have some bullets shot at it? You got to see if that Teflon, Kevlar, whatever the hell it's called, if it actually is working, what actually works.
not happy with her marriage. At some point, these women learn to find happiness for themselves in their marriage. Men,
Yeah, you have to be able to find happiness for yourself. You have to be able to, you are with yourself all day, every moment of your life. You're with yourself. That's the reality of it. You have to be able to love yourself. And that's the problem. A lot of women get into relationships or people in general get into relationships and they don't love themselves. They get into relationships and they're looking for this person to fill this empty cup. Fill this empty gas tank. That's the reality of it. You're looking for somebody to do this. And a lot of times a person ends up losing themselves in their relationship. A lot of times you get into a relationship and you're trying to change a person. A lot of women look at a man when they get with a man. They say, okay, I don't like this about him. Okay, I don't like that about him. Okay, we gonna fix that. We gonna fix that too. They look at it like a house that needs to be flipped and renovated. That's how they look at a lot of men, and they start trying to change you and they start looking at ways to change you. And that's when the relationship starts to fail, because you have to accept a person for who they are when you would meet them. Meaning if you change and you grow and you elevate in life, that's great. But if you stay the same way you are for the rest of your life, you have to be content, satisfied with who that person is. That's the problem. People be getting into relationships trying to change somebody. You have to accept this person for who this is, because what's going to happen is when you constantly start nitpicking like that and start trying to change a person, all that's going to happen is they're just going to do a better job of hiding who they really are. They're just going to hide who they are when they're around you. They're just going to silence it. That's it. They're going to do a better job of concealing it and keeping it a mystery, keeping it hidden. That's it. So you got to keep that in mind, brothers. If your woman, you know she like to dress a certain way when you met her, don't be trying to change that. That's who she is. That's who the woman she is. So stop trying to change a woman. That's what I'm saying. A woman has to already come ready to go. She already has to be what she is. If you want her to be a wife, quote unquote, she already has to understand, yo, I need to dress modestly. Don't be trying to change your woman's attire. If your woman has a smart ass mouth, she has a smart ass mouth. There's nothing you're going to do to change that. There's nothing couples counseling, couples therapy is going to do to change that. This is who she is. And more than likely, this is who she's been all her life. Maybe the 2, 3, 4 decades of her life, depending on how old she is and when you met her. That doesn't stop. Most of what a person's personality is already determined. That's already been downloaded and pre-downloaded and pre-ordered by the time they 12, 13 years old. So by the time a person is a certain age, they already are who they are. The base foundational programming is already there. There's things that can change about that person, but for the most part, they are who and what they are. Accept that. Accept that. So if you're looking for a certain type of woman, look for those qualities. Don't try to change no woman and try to mold a woman and build her up into something. It's not that you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. You can't change a person. You can't turn salt into sugar. You can't.
Really don't care about how happy the marriage is. They're in the marriage for comfort, whatever benefits it bring, for social status, and for like the feeling being taken care of.
Man, look, I can't speak for all men, but in general, once again, a lot of men are in relationships just like everybody else is in a relationship, because we all have a natural instinct or natural hormonal or urge inside of us to be with the opposite sex, to yearn. We naturally yearn to be with the opposite or complementary gender. That's a part of our programming, because that's how we all got here. We naturally are programmed and compelled, driven, set in motion to breed with one another, go after one another. That's the natural way and the natural order of things. We living in a society now where marriage really isn't necessary. There haven't been too many societies like this throughout the history of mankind, at least since the flood. I don't really dive too deep into what that world was like, but I know I just say since the flood. Reality is, there haven't been too many societies like this where it's so advanced, where people really can just sit on their ass all day. Like, a lot of people work 10 hours a day or work a job where they can be on Instagram half their damn shift. Is that really a job when you can be on Instagram half your shift? Are you really working? Let's ask these questions. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of society we live in. We live in a society where you literally, if you want to see sexual images and video images, all you have to do is open up your phone, go on the internet, and you can see whatever you want. You can see ass and titties whenever you want. You can see breasts whenever you want. You can see intercourse whenever you want. That's the society that we live in. That's the world we live in. We have access to everything at our fingertips. A lot of women, they have made the sex toy industry not a 9-figure, if not 10-figure industry, because these these women are rosing themselves to death, seizuring themselves to death. This is the reality of it. A lot of people, there's never been a society like this. The biggest trick, and that needs to be the message going into 2025 and beyond, is the biggest trick that Satan ever did was, and deceived the masses with, is convincing people that he does not exist. People really don't believe and understand that the adversary exists and that he will come down with a lot of wrath, because he knows he has not much time. He knows he ain't got much time. Brothers, it's too obvious that there's never been a society like this. You know, the scriptures tell us there'll be wars and rumors of wars and things of that nature. And there have been wars all throughout history. There's been signs and trials and tribulations all throughout history, but there's never been a society like this today. There's never been a time period where people have access to this amount of information, and positive, negative, good, bad. There's never been, and now you know that Satan is coming down with much wrath, and you know that this society is getting ready to fall and collapse at some point. I'm not going to say when. It's because now the children are being corrupted. The children have phones now. There are kids that are 7, 8, 9 years old that have phones now. And they're able to type things in and go on social media, and they're able to have access to these negative, toxic, demonic things that are unseen on the internet. These are the things that we have to understand, brothers. We need to pay attention to the world around us. And this is why men need to step up, because the women, they just happy go lucky. They just go along with it. The woman needs a man because she needs a spiritual covering and a spiritual protector. The vast majority of women that do not have a husband, especially a husband that is a man of the Lord and seeks to be a man of the Lord, those women are going to be destroyed. Those women are not going to have any chance at all. They know, because ideologically, they are naturally driven and set in motion to follow the serpent. The woman's ideal society is Sodom and Gomorrah. Not all, just the majority.
Couples that's been married for decades and have a good relationship, they have a soul level connection. This is someone who is their
What does soul level connection mean, brothers? That means two people are equally yoked. Scriptures tell us if you have a wife of thy mind, forsake her not, but give not thyself over to a light woman. The problem is a lot of you brothers are giving yourself over to a light woman. Giving yourself over to a light woman, the word light in that context just means light in weight, lesser, weaker, inferior, not superior, not stronger, not better, inadequate. That's the type of woman you're giving yourself over to. You can't be giving yourself over and giving your life, your soul, your heart over to these hoes just because they got cool personalities, fun-loving personalities, and they got some good coochie and they throw it on you. Brothers, no. Equally yoked. Meaning a woman should be having, a lot of brothers have never met a woman in life where you are equally yoked with her, where y'all literally just understand one another. Y'all are in agreement with one another. The word agreement means mutual understanding. That's what it means. A lot of brothers don't have you having these conversations with these women out here. There's no mutual understanding. All it is divisiveness. They don't care to listen to what you have to say. They don't give a damn about what you have to say. The scriptures tell us that a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple. She is loud and knoweth nothing. Like, that's what she is, man. Always talking, always running her mouth. That's what clamorous means. Always running her mouth. Don't ever want to shut up. This is why the scriptures tell us that a wife material woman is silent. It's not that she doesn't have a voice. She doesn't have any words and doesn't have any capability of articulating herself and putting together a sentence. That's not what that means. You have conversations with your wife. You talk to your wife. Your wife asks you questions. That's not what it means that she just has a muzzle over her mouth. What it means is she knows how to be quiet. She knows how to listen. She's not overly opinionated, because a lot of women their whole life is opinion. A lot of women don't deal in the realm of fact or reality. Not to say that they don't speak facts sometimes. What I'm saying is they just deal in the realm of their feelings, their emotions, and their opinion. It's not about actual truth. They don't process the truth well. Anyways, tap in.
soulmate, and they have like a resonance and alignment on a soul level. So it's not to say that it can't happen.
Brother, the word soul in the Greek means psyche, means mind. That's what it means. So your soulmate, whatever the hell that means, that's referencing your mind, meaning we can have a high level mental connection. The quote unquote universe works mentally, brothers. We tap into the spirit. Our whole brain works in a spiritual way. We literally have electromagnetic brain waves that our brain emits and is able to receive and transmit. That's how you're able to pick up on a vibe with a person. Mentally, there's a strong mental connection. That's the soul, the psyche, the mind. That's where your third eye is, in your psyche, your mind. These are things we have to understand, brothers. It's things we have to understand. So yes, that strong mental connection, meaning y'all are equally yoked. And once again, conversation works two ways, not just a person talking, but a person listening, and listening with comprehension, and comprehension meaning understanding. And that's what intellect is. That's what an intellectual conversation is. An intellectual conversation is a conversation in which there is understanding. And the highest level of understanding is the understanding of truth.
To say that most people aren't patient enough to let it happen, to wait for it to happen.
Yeah, brothers. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Patience is key. A lot of times, brothers, you, all of us, we settle for things that we shouldn't necessarily settle for, and you give yourself over to a light woman because niggas ain't patient. Gotta be patient. You gotta be patient. Single doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. It just means it's an opportunity for you to work on yourself, and it's important that you learn how to love yourself. That's the reality of it. When you get into a relationship, you have to be cool with being by yourself because the reality is this person can leave at any moment. And you have to be able to work on yourself so that you have things that you bring to the table. And also understand that if a woman really loves you and is enamored with you and inflamed with love for you, she's going to want a lot of your time. So you have to understand that as well.